Hello, and welcome to 6th grade STEAM Camp. My name's Dr. Dadles, and I'll be taking through our activities today. Today, we're going to be focusing on art. So, first, we'll kind of go through a few different activities to kind of introduce you to some of the things that you might find that correlate with science and art, and then we'll be getting into some activities. And in these activities, you'll see how art and math and science are all interrelated, especially when it comes to my favorite, nature. Absolutely. So I love going on nature walks, taking a look at how the leaves and the flowers all form these beautiful patterns that are found in nature. And oh, well, hello there, Alexander. Nice of you to drop in. Um, very, very good to see you after your engineering experiments, right? Hmm. You don't seem to be taking it too over easy. Why don't you just come hop in my pocket over here and we'll go on a nice, relaxing nature hike? Great. There are going to be three parts to our day today. So, first, we're going to take a look at the patterns that often occur in nature. And next, we'll head outside to see what kind of patterns we can find. And finally, we're going to use some of these patterns that are found in math and art and create our own Fibonacci fractal pattern based on nature. Okay, sounds great. Let's get started. So, the first natural pattern that we often see are lines and waves. All right. So, you can see in these incredible sequoias that there are just these amazing straight lines that are found throughout the entire forest that artists have to reproduce then on their canvases. But if we go out to Great Sands National Park, you'll see these amazing dunes made out of gypsum. But look closer. And as you look closer, you'll see these incredible wavy lines that cover every inch of these dunes. It's really amazing to see. We can also see circles in nature quite a bit. So they're found in things like these tree rings, and these are called concentric circles. This means that they all have that same center, but the circles keep radiating out, getting larger and larger, all inside of each other. Kind of like this amazing tree ring that you can see that starts off with that center circle where the tree first started growing, and then over hundreds of years have created this incredible ring. Nature also has stripes and spots. So if we look here, take a look at these stripes. No, look closer, really closer. Don't see it? Ah. So those lines and those stripes help create an amazing camouflage. Whoa, amazing. But there's also spots. So when I was out looking at flowers, all these white spots, these are all incredible flowers. But again, look closer. And as you look closer, you'll see in this California 5 spot, there are exactly 5 purple spots. Bonus, you get all these lines on there too. Pretty cool, huh? We can also find branching and meandering going on in nature. So this leaf has incredible branches coming out of the veins that almost mimic the tree that it came from. In the same way, we've got this incredible meandering path. It looks like a snake as this river just meanders through this floodplain. When seen from space, you can see it meandering, but also branching off into these smaller branches that almost look like the tree that we saw earlier. We also have examples of symmetry in nature. So this is where you have like this half of something matches the other half of something. So if I were to fold that leaf in half, they match up perfectly, just like the wings on this butterfly match up along that line of symmetry that's its body. We also have spirals found in nature. These beautiful leaves that are unfurling as they grow in the spring, or the snail shell that you're taking a look at oftentimes in your own front yard. Spirals can be very small. These are 1.5 millimeters. Think about the tip of a pencil. Or they can be very large, like this entire incredible galaxy. There are also explosions and fractals in nature. This fan looks like it's exploding out from the bottom, with this explosion pattern radiating out on its wonderful California palm leaf. But we also have this pattern of a fractal where things are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, but also radiating out from the center. So, how many examples can you find? You are going to take your nature journal and you're going to go out into your schoolyard. You're going to look closely for some of these patterns. And so you'll fill this out as you go. What do you notice? What did you wonder? What does this pattern remind you of? Have you seen any of these patterns elsewhere? I also left you a spot to make a little bit of a doodle. When you come back in, you're going to be discussing some of these patterns that you found that are similar or different from some of your friends. So remember to go out to the spot that your teacher tells you that you can look for any of these nature patterns. And remember, look closely. Listen for your teacher's signal to return and then share what you found with each other. I'll see you back here in about 10 minutes. Hello, welcome back from your nature hike. We're going to take a look at another part of our lesson today, and we're going to be talking about Fibonacci patterns and fractals. So, I've got a bit of a question for you. I'm going to show you a series of numbers, and I want you to see if you can't figure out the pattern. So let's take a look. So if we're looking here, we have a 1 and a 1, 2, and then a 3, 5, an 8, a 13. How did this 1 and this 1 turn into 2, and this 2 then change to a 3, change to a 5, change to an 8, change to a 13? So this pattern was discovered by Fibonacci. All right. Who is Fibonacci? Glad you asked. So he's this great European mathematician, and he was born in Italy. And he introduced the Arabic number system, which includes 0 or base 10s, 10s, 20s, things like that. He introduced that to Europe. He also started the decimal system. And he was the one that came up with this interesting sequence of numbers. He was thinking about rabbit populations, and he came up with this pattern that he kept seeing over and over again. And if we look at this pattern, it's a very unusual pattern. It starts off with this 1 and 1. Fibonacci discovered this amazing number pattern. He noticed that if you had 1 and 1 and added them together, that they made 2. But then if you took the 2 and you added the previous number, 2 plus 1, you got an answer of 3. If you took 3 and you added the previous number, 3 plus 2, you got 5, and so on. So this sequencing can actually be found in flower petals. I want to take you a little bit of a tour of that. Let's take a look here. So here, sometimes we have one flower petal. This one just goes around in a bit of a spiral, right? But then let's add 1 to 1, and we end up with 2. And so here we only have 2 flower petals on this very unique looking flower. And if we add 2 plus 1, we end up with 3, like this trillium that can be found in the woods with the 3 petals. 3 plus 2 is 5. You won't very often find a flower that only has 4 flower petals. The most common in nature are these 5 flower petals as found on this pansy. 5 plus 3 is 8. And so many flowers that you'll find like this cosmos will have 8 flower petals. And 8 plus 5, well, that makes 13, like found on these gold fields in our California wildflowers. And 13 plus 8, you're going to end up with 21. Oh my goodness, like this zinnia over here, and so on and so forth. So when you're looking at these flower petals, look closer. Spend a little bit of time really thinking and noting exactly how many number patterns might be on there. It's pretty amazing. The Fibonacci sequence can also be found in shapes. Let's take a look. Isn't that just an amazing looking natural shape? This spiral can be found in many places in nature where things start off with that one in the center and then they build with another one, and a two, a three, and it just keeps going larger and larger and larger, just like you find here with the spiral on this nautilus shell. Okay? But it can also be seen in many other places, okay? Such as the seeds as they are in a sunflower, okay? And they can also be found in these roses too. So these spirals are amazing, but then we can add another layer onto there, and those would be fractals. Now, fractals are an amazing mathematical shape where if you take this shape, it repeats itself again and again, getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So think about that spiral, but in reverse. So this entire frond, if we were to look closer, it's the same shape as one of these small fronds, but it's also the same shape as one of these teeny tiny fronds. And so as you zoom in or zoom out, you get this same shape over and over again. It's just a repeating pattern that's found in nature, such as in these leaves, or patterns that can be found in these flowers, with this hexagon that repeats over and over again, or this star that repeats from the center of the flower and then works its way on out. Now, what's really awesome is if you have a Fibonacci spiral and you also have a fractal appearing at the same time, like in this amazing succulent plant. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. So let's create a Fibonacci spiral fractal. So look at this example here. What shapes do you see? So most of you would say that you saw squares and that you saw triangles. Well, what if I told you that there aren't really any triangles in there? What's the largest shape that you can see? Look closer. Is that large shape, that largest square right there, that's how this whole pattern started. And then it just began to spiral. If you take that large square, you can look at it, divide it into fourths. This whole thing is made with just the square. Okay? And this repeated pattern, when it gets layered on top of each other when you draw it, that's what's make the triangles. And so this is going to look a lot like our succulent pattern that is a fractal and a Fibonacci spiral at the same time. Can you see that? So we're going to create a Fibonacci spiral fractal. Now ours is going to start off with a couple pieces of origami paper and scissors, and you're just going to work your way on through the pattern with me, and I'm going to show you up close. We'll start off with that one piece of origami paper, and then I'm going to show you how to tilt it a little bit, cut it down and rotate it. We'll trace it again, and then we're going to tilt it, cut it down again, and trace it again. And we're just going to keep on cutting and tracing until we have an amazing Fibonacci spiral fractal. Great, so let's gather the materials that we need out of your Thursday STEAM Camp backpack. And if we take a look here,